My dear students, I am welcoming you all to today's online class. In the previous class, we started to discuss characteristics of C++ and afterwards we discussed character set in C++ and afterwards just we listed tokens in C++, right? So today we are going to discuss in detail about this tokens. What is mean by a token? It is very simple. Basic programming element used in a program. Any basic programming element in a C++ program is considered as token, right? So just we take another definition. The most fundamental elements of a C++ program is considered as a token, right? Means whenever we are going to write a C++ program, means there what we can observe, that individual element, what we can observe, those elements, those fundamental elements are considered as tokens of C++. Means the most fundamental element used in a programming language, C programming language, is considered as token of C++. Just we listed the tokens, right? In the previous class, C++ has the following tokens. C++ has the following tokens. First one, identifier. Second one, keyword. It is also called reserved word. Reserved word. In C it is called reserved word. C programming, it is C++, it is called what? Keyword. Okay. And the next one is third one, variable. Fourth one is constant, or it is also called literals. And fifth one, punctuators, and sixth one, operators, right? So these are the tokens in C++. What is mean by token in a C++? The most fundamental element used in a programming language or used in a program are called tokens of C++. It means, suppose if we want to write any C++ program, means that a C++ program has some elements, some fundamental elements, means without those elements it is not possible to write even a single C++ program. So such very essential needed elements which are helpful while writing a program are considered as tokens of C++, right? And here I listed different types of tokens of C++. They are identifier, keyword. In C it is called reserved word. And third one, variable. Fourth one, constant or literals. Fifth one, punctuators. Sixth one, operators. So these six are different types of tokens used in C++. Means you consider any C++ program that is made up of some basic elements, means that is made up of these tokens. Without these tokens, means without these basic elements, it is not possible to write program. So why we are learning C++ program? To write a C++ program, we are going to learning C programming language. So whenever we are going to write a program, means that program needs some basic concepts, basic elements. Without those elements, program is not going to be complete. So therefore, those basic elements are called tokens of C++. Now I think you understand how much important these tokens while writing a program, right? Now in this class, let us study in detail regarding these tokens. I think today we are going to discuss identifiers, keywords and variables, right? Let us try to discuss all these 6 in detail. Okay. Now first one, consider identifier. Identifier. What is an identifier? Of course we know it is one of the C++ token, right? So when he asked for particularly 1 mark, define identifier, means we have to write exact definition. What is mean by an identifier? Suppose in the examination he is going to ask for 1 mark any one these. For example, define keyword. Then we have to write exactly what is mean by a keyword. Suppose you are going to write just keyword is one of the C++ token, then you are not going to get 1 mark. Because you consider any one of these, all are the what? Tokens of C++. So don't write like this when he is going to ask for 1 mark. We have to write the exact definition, because you consider any one among these 6, it is one of the C++ token. So therefore whenever question is framing for 1 mark, then we have to write the exact definition of that particular token. Now let us consider first identifier, and let us see what is mean by an identifier. See here, identifier is a name given to the programming element such as variables, arrays, functions, classes, etc. Means what is mean by an identifier? Means identifier is a name given to the programming element such as variables, arrays, classes, functions, etc. are considered as identifiers. It means in the study of C++ programming, we are going to use variables, arrays, functions, classes. So we are going to use these concepts. The name given to these things means, suppose we have to declare some variables, means we are going to write variable name. Suppose I have to declare a one class, means I am going to declare a class with some name. So such names are considered as identifiers. Now let us recall what is mean by an identifier. Identifier is a name. Of course identifier is a token of C++, right? So exact definition means identifier is a name given to the programming element such as what? Variables, class, arrays, functions are called identifiers, right? It is very simple. What is an identifier? Identifier is a name given to the programming element such as variables, arrays, functions, classes are called identifiers. Means while writing C++ program, we are going to use these things: arrays, or else class, or else functions, or else what? Variables. So suppose we have to declare any one among these, means we have to give some name. So name given to such programming element are considered as identifier, right? What he says, identifier is a name given to the programming element such as variables, arrays, functions, classes, etc. Right? Now let us see how to name variables, how to name array, how to name functions, how to name classes. Means, is there any rules to name these things? Means, is there any rules to declare identifier? Yes, there is a rule. Let us see what are those rules. Identifier contains letters, digits and underscore. Means, when we have to declare an identifier, means that should made up of letters, digits and underscore. C++ is a case sensitive and hence it treats as uppercase and lowercase characters as differently. C++ is a case sensitive. Case sensitive means, suppose just consider a word called cat, which is made up of capital letters, and next you consider same thing, cat in small letter. Means, this is made up of a word with capital letter, this is made up of a word with a small letter. C++ is a case sensitive means, this is a word made up of capital letters, this is a word made up of small letter. C++ compiler is going to consider this one as different and this one as different. So this is mean by case sensitive. Whereas in C programming, it is not case sensitive, means it is going to treat both as same. So that's why C is not a case sensitive, whereas C++ is a case sensitive, means it is going to consider a word which is made up of capital as one type and which is made up of small letter is as another type. So that is the case sensitive. Now let us see the rules for naming an identifier. Rules for naming an identifier, right? Rules for naming an identifier. What are the rules we have to follow naming an identifier? Naming an identifier means, identifier itself is the name given to the programming element, right? So means in our program, suppose we are going to declare variables, we are going to declare array name or we are going to declare class name, then we have to follow these rules. Now then we have to follow these rules, means these are the rules to define an identifier, right? The following are the rules for naming an identifier. What are those rules? First one, what is the first rule? Identifiers are a sequence of characters which should begin with an alphabet or underscore. What he says? Identifier is a sequence of characters which should begin with an alphabet or underscore, right? This is the first rule. Begin with alphabet or underscore. This is the first rule, right? Underscore means like this, right? Like this. So what is the first rule? Suppose we have to declare an identifier, means a variable name or class name or array name or function name, that should begin with alphabet. Alphabet means that may be a uppercase letter or lowercase letter, that should begin with alphabet or that should begin with underscore. It means identifier always begin with alphabet or underscore. It means suppose something begin with a digit, something begin with a special character, then it is not going to be considered as identifier, because identifier rule says that identifier should begin with alphabet or underscore. Other than these, if other than this means it should be a digit or it should be any special character means that is not considered as identifier, right? Now let us consider a second rule. No special character is allowed except underscore, right? So this is the second one. No special character except underscore, right? Except underscore means no special character means while defining an identifier there is no matter of special characters. If any special character is there, that is open bracket or closed bracket or open flower bracket or closed flower bracket, comma, semicolon, these are the special character, right? So while naming an identifier, such character is there means, such special character is there means that is not considered as identifier. But it allows only one special character is allowed, that is underscore. If underscore means like this, if underscore is there means that is, even though it is a special character, that is allowed for naming an identifier, right? Now third one, let us see here. A keyword cannot be used for naming an identifier, right? A keyword cannot be used as identifier. A keyword cannot be used as identifier means keyword is the next term, right? I'm going to explain it afterwards. There are some keywords in C++. Those are predefined word. I can say keyword means predefined word. Let us discuss afterwards. So some predefined words are there. So those cannot be used as identifiers, right? So such keywords means which are already defined to do some task purpose. Some words are there. So those things cannot be used for naming an identifier. This is what? Third rule. Next one is fourth one. Let us see here. Identifier should be of reasonable length, that is 8 character. Means maximum length of the character is maximum length of identifier is 8 character. 8 character means suppose a identifier name is made up of more than 8 character means it takes first 8 characters only. From starting it consider only first 8 characters and it is going to be considered as that as identifier. Means maximum length of the identifier is 8 characters only. This thing we have to remember while defining an identifier. And next point, fifth point, that is identifier should be of reasonable length, that is 8 characters, right? So these are the 4 points we have to remember while defining an identifier, right? What are the four rules? These 4 points are very, very important. He is going to ask for 2 or 3 marks. At least any 2 rules for defining an identifier or list any 4 rules for defining an identifier. Like this you may get 2 mark question or 3 mark question on the rules of identifier. Let us recall what are the rules. First one, identifier should begin with alphabet, means it may be uppercase or lowercase, and or underscore. It should begin with alphabet or a special character called underscore. Second one, there is no special characters allowed while defining an identifier except underscore. Third point, that is a keyword cannot be used as identifier, means some keywords are there, so they cannot be considered as name of the identifier. And next one, fourth one, maximum length of the identifier is fixed, that is 8 characters. Means while defining an identifier, suppose it must be a valid identifier, means we have to take a maximum of 8 characters, means we have to declare less than 8 only, then it is considered as valid identifier. So these rules we have to remember while defining an identifier, right? Now consider second one, that is keyword or reserved word. In C programming we are considering a token, second token as a keyword, whereas in C++ we are going to consider the second one as a keyword, whereas in C programming the same thing is considered as reserved word. Now let us see what is mean by a keyword or a reserved word. And before going to discuss this keyword and reserved word, let us see some valid identifiers, right? Some valid identifiers. For example for identifier. For example, see here, student. Second one, amount. Third one, underscore amount. Fourth one, mark 2. Fifth one, total mark. See here, these 5 are the examples for valid identifier. See here, first one is student. So this identifier is made up of only letters. Identifiers must be begin with a letter or underscore. Here it is begin with a letter, there is no special character, it is not a keyword. Maximum length of the identifier is maximum 8 characters, so it is a valid identifier. And here also second one, it is also valid identifier because it should begin with a alphabet or underscore. So here it is begin with a underscore, therefore it is also a valid identifier. So third one is also valid identifier because it is also begin with a underscore. Fourth one, mark 2. It is also valid identifier because it begin with a character. There is no any special character. It end with a digit. Okay, it allows because there is no any rules such that digits are not allowed. Therefore, so fourth one is also valid identifier. And see here, fifth one, that is total underscore mark. It is a valid identifier. Yes, it is also a valid identifier because it begin with a alphabet and there is no any special character in the alphabet in the identifier except underscore, right? So this is a special character and its maximum length is 8 character. Means see here, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, so maximum is 8, so it is not identifier. Don't take such decisions because see, underscore comes means it means that from there again it allows 8 characters. See here, before 8 character underscore comes, right? 1 2 3 4 5. So from here onwards it takes once again 8 characters. 1 2 3 4 5. So it is not more than 8. So therefore this is also valid identifier, right? So these are the valid identifier. Now some let us see some situations which are not a valid identifier. For example, like this, invalid identifiers. For example, invalid identifiers. For example, 34 data. Second one, register underscore number. Third one, while, 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 if. See here, these are the invalid identifiers because first one is invalid, because we have to write reason. He is going to ask for one mark why it is an invalid identifier, then we have to tell particular reason. So 34 data, it is invalid because it should begin with a digit, it should begin with a alphabet or underscore, that is the rule, but here it is begin with a digit, therefore it is not a valid identifier. And this second one is also not a valid identifier because reg afterwards hyphen is there between, no, see here, this is like this. So hyphen is there, means between two words there is a symbol that is called hyphen. If the symbol is subscripted, means here it is a underscore. Between is there, means it is a hyphen, though hyphen is a special symbol, therefore it is the invalid identifier. And the next one, third one while, and fourth one fifth, these are also invalid because while, if, these are the keywords. There is a rule right here, there is a rule, a keyword cannot be used as name of the identifier. Here while and if are the keywords, so keywords cannot be used as name of the identifier. So these are what examples for invalid identifier. From this what we conclude, while naming an identifier we have to follow these rules, right? By following those rules we can define a valid identifier, right? So first one is over, identifier is over. Now let us consider second one, that is what? Keyword. What is a keyword? See here, a keyword is a predefined word that gives a special meaning to the compiler. What he says? A keyword is a special word, a predefined word that gives a special meaning to the compiler. What it mean? See here, second one what? Keyword. Keyword. What he says? It is a predefined word. What he says? What is the keyword? See here, a keyword is a predefined word that gives a special meaning to the compiler. They are keyword which can be used for their intended purpose and should not be used as normal identifier. See here, what is the keyword? He says keyword is a predefined word, means in the C++ software some words are already defined. So already defined words are called predefined word. So what is keyword? Means a keyword is a predefined word. In the C++ already they are defined, predefined word, and that gives what? Special meaning to the compiler. That gives special meaning to the compiler. Means, for example, these are the keywords: if, else, while, do while, switch, switch, switch. These are the examples for keyword. These are the examples for keyword. So if, while, do while, for, like this, there are 84 keywords. 84 keywords in C++. right? So these are predefined word to do some operation. Means in a C++ software, some predefined words are there, are called keywords. What is the use of that keyword? Means that gives special meaning to the compiler. Means when such keywords are comes in the program, compiler is going to consider those are predefined words. And there is a rule, right? Keywords cannot be considered as identifier name, right? So these are the keywords. These cannot be considered as identifier name. So what this keyword is going to do means, they are the predefined words. They cannot be used as identifier name, and they are going to give a special meaning to the compiler. Means this is a if. In the study of C++ programming language, these words are coming. There I am going to explain in detail what is the purpose of each thing. Means right now, when such words comes in the programming, means compiler is going to get some special meaning, or it is going to perform some task. When these such keywords are comes in the programming, compiler is going to do some compiler is going to gives special meaning to the compiler. So such words are comes means compiler is going to think, oh, this is a keyword, so it is going to perform some operation, and it is not going to consider such words as name of the identifier, right? So like this, if, else, while, do while, switch, case, like this, some 84 words are considered as keywords. Just see the chart of keywords in your textbook. So these 84 words are considered as what? Keywords, right? Now let us see third one, that is I think variable, right? So identifier is over, keyword is over. Now let us consider the third one, that is variable. Third token of C++, it is a very, very important variable, right? Third one, variable. Let us see what is a mean by a variable. Of course, it is one of the C++ token, right? Now, exactly what is mean by a variable? Let us see here. A variable is one of the C++ token whose value can change during execution of a program. What is this? A variable is a token of C++, one of the token of C++ whose value can change during execution of a program, right? When program is going to be executed, its value is going to be changed. So such quantities are called variables. Now let us see. Variables are nothing but identifiers, right? Identifier are the name given to the variables, class, functions, arrays, right? Just we take another definition, right? So he says variables are nothing but identifiers which are used to identify the location where a certain value is stored in the computer memory. Each variable is represented in the name of memory location in which any value can be stored. What he says, a variable is a programming element, means variable is a one of the token of C++ whose value may change during execution of the program. This is one definition. Or else what we can say, variable means a variable is a memory location where a value is going to be stored. He says in another definition, what is a variable? Variable is a particular memory location. Variable is a name given to the memory location where a value is going to be stored. It means, let us see one diagram here. Suppose this is a memory. This is a computer memory. Suppose I am going to declare a variable called int a is equal to 78. See here, this is one of the valid C++ statement. Just here I am declaring a variable called a and I am assigning value 78 to this a. This is a integer type, means integer type means it is going to hold integer value. Now this is affecting in memory in such a way that int a equal to 78 means, suppose this is a memory space, means this is a memory, means how this thing is affected in memory means, he says variable is a name, what he says, used variables are nothing but identifiers which are used to identify the location where a certain value is going to be stored. Means we are going to declare a variable int a, means for a purpose this memory location is allocated, right? So this memory location name is identified by variable name. So here this a is what? Variable name. So this location, whenever we are going to declare a variable, for that variable in the memory a location is allocated. Suppose data type is int, means 2-byte memory is allocated for this variable. Suppose data type float, means for this variable 4-byte memory is allocated. Suppose data type char, means for this variable 1-byte memory is allocated. Now the data type is int, so therefore this variable a 2-byte memory is allocated. So what exactly variable means? A variable is a variable is a name given to the memory location to store the value. Means now I am assigning 78 to a, means in the computer for this a one memory location is allocated, there this 78 is going to be stored, right? So there this 78 is going to be stored. So here this a is nothing but variable name. In this variable value 78 is going to store, right? So and for this particular variable, what? Some default memory address is allocated. Suppose I am going to declare one more variable int b, means so another memory location is allocated for this variable b. So this variable b, and here also we can store some data, and for this location another address is allocated. Another address is allocated, right? So we can define a variable in two ways. First one is a variable is one of the lexical token of C++ whose value may change during execution of the program. In another way, a variable is a name of the location in the memory where a value is going to be stored, right? So in this way we can define a variable. Now let us see the general format for the declaration of a variable. General format for the declaration of variable. General form. It is also called syntax of variable declaration. General form or syntax of variable declaration means in the program how to define or how to declare a variable. That is the syntax, means its general form means how to implement a variable in a program. See here, first one, general form is data type space name of variable name, variable list, variable list. This is the general form of a variable declaration, right? So here data type means it tells the type of value that variable is going to hold. For example, int a is equal to 78, right? So here int is a data type. If it is int means this variable is going to hold int value. If it is float means variable is going to hold float value, right? So this data type may be int, float or char, right? So that data type tells the type of value is going to be held by a variable. Type of value is going to be held by a variable, right? And the next thing is variable list. Variable list is nothing but collection of variables, or how much variable we have to need in the program, that much variable we have to consider. But here one thing, all the variables are separated by comma and end with semicolon. For example, in the program, suppose I have to declare only one variable means I have to declare like this, int a semicolon. These are the examples for variable declaration, int a equal to semicolon. Second one, suppose I have to declare two variables of same data type means int, or three variables like a, b, c, semicolon. Here what I did, I declared three variables of integer type. Suppose all variables are declared in a single line means all are separated by comma. Last variable end with the semicolon. Last variable end with the semicolon. Suppose I have to declare two variables of different data type means we have to declare in separate like this. Third one, int a comma float b comma, right? Suppose those variables of same data type means we can declare in a single line like this, a, b, c, only one data type. Suppose those variables are different data type means we have to take different, int a semicolon float b semicolon, float b semicolon, right? So here where data type is the one of the C++ variable type, it may be int, float or char. The data type determines which value it can hold and what operations can be performed, right? So this data type tells the what value is going to be held by this variable, right? Whether this variable, for example, int a means what? That a is going to hold only integer value. Suppose int a comma b comma c means what? A, b, c are integer type variable are going to hold only integer values. Suppose float b means what? B is a variable of data type float means b variable has the capacity to hold float type values. Float type value means value with decimal point is called float value or real value. So like this, let us go through once again these concepts. That is, we discussed in this class three concepts, that is identifier, rules for naming an identifier, keywords and variables, right? So just go through textbook and just glance once. 84 keywords are there. Just go through those charts and just you remember what are the keywords in the C++ programming, and those keywords cannot be used as identifier name, right? So next topic, that is constants, punctuators, operators. So those things we are going to discuss in the next class. Thank you, students.